So the Samsung S22 Ultra has been out in South Africa for about 2 months now. And since the birth of this channel, we've reviewed and unboxed every Samsung Galaxy flagship from the S9 Plus. And I've personally owned every single Galaxy flagship phone since its inception. So in today's video, we're basically going to be doing a quick review to look at some of the pros and cons of the S22 Ultra and also ask a very important question. Should you actually buy one? There's going to be some shocking revelations, so stay tuned till the end. Let's get into it. There was a time where you needed to get the flagship every year because every flagship phone came out with new cutting-edge technology that blew the previous model out the water. Those days are however gone. And if you bought any flagship phone within the last 3 years, you are actually good to go with regards to performance, use of apps, etc., etc. So what are some of the reasons you'd want to get the new S22 Ultra? One of the biggest reasons and one of the main reasons I upgrade year on year is the fact that Samsung basically makes the best screens out there on the market. Their screens are so good that they're actually used in Apple phones nowadays. And the Samsung phones, if you get a flagship phone for that year, it's so good, and it's something you may not notice initially, and I've said this in every review video that we've done on this channel with regard to Samsung Galaxy phones. If you use one for a week, you will not be able to go back to any other phone, even a previous Samsung Galaxy flagship phone. That's how good these screens are. And as a person that consumes a lot of content in terms of YouTube and watching my favorite series and movies on Netflix, this is a big plus. If you're looking for the best screen out there on the market and the best visual display, then it's a no-brainer. You're gonna go for the Samsung S22 Ultra. All-day battery life, check. From the S20 Ultra till the S22 Ultra, these batteries last the entire day. I've gone as long as 28 to 30 hours straight off charge, consuming a lot of video content and also taking a lot of photos and video clips throughout the day before the battery actually reached a low of like 10% where I needed to charge it. And if you get any flagship phone out there nowadays, you are guaranteed of all-day battery life in terms of a normal work day, coming home, etc., etc. But this is heavily dependent on usage as well.
The 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts!
With regards to performance, if you get any flagship phone out there nowadays, you're guaranteed of good performance when it comes to gaming, when it comes to usage of apps, etc., etc. And there's been an issue where performance benchmarks have become a thing, and on any of these flagship phones it's actually not applicable. And the reason I say this is because Apple, Samsung and few other companies have actually been caught with their pants down, where their operating software or operating systems basically boosted or increased performances of their chips within their phones for benchmarks specifically.
Oh no, he didn't.
Now, the reality of the situation is that this is a small chassis and a small form factor, and it actually only has passive cooling with the use of copper pipes. Now, nobody goes out there the entire day benchmarking, or if you are actually a serious mobile gamer, you would probably want to consider a phone that's designed and geared towards that. An example that comes to mind is a ASUS ROG phone, where you get an attachment for active cooling. And the biggest problem with all these small chassis or the small form factors is the fact that it can't dissipate the heat fast enough. So you will always get throttling. But if you get any flagship phone, you are guaranteed of good performance with any games that are out there on the stores and any apps that are available out there. It would perform perfectly.
Shut up and take my money.
Moving on to the design of the phone. So the new S22 Ultra, it's a little bigger than the previous model because of the included S Pen. And this is a Pro. So basically the Galaxy and Note have combined, and now you get an S Pen included within the phone. The S21 Ultra did have compatibility for the S Pen, but you required an additional case so that you can store the pen, and the pen wasn't stored on the phone, so there was a possibility of losing it. And many users out there didn't go out and buy that extra accessory. Now that it's included in this phone, I understand why Note users actually love the S Pen. I find myself using it more and more every day. If I need to take a quick note, use the pen for gestures, for controls of apps like cameras, etc. And I'm simply loving the S Pen. So it's a big pro for anyone out there. And if you've been using the S Pen and you've actually been enjoying it, please comment down in the comment section down below and tell us or share your experience with us. The next thing is the colorway of the phone. So we got the S22 Ultra here in the Phantom Black, and this colorway came out actually last year on last year's flagship, which was the S21 Ultra, but it's simply brilliant. Pictures and photos just don't do it justice. You have to see one of these, and it's one of the best color phones you can get out there on the market currently. The next thing I want to talk about the design is actually the camera bump. So on the S20 Ultra, there was actually a huge problem with the large glass back camera bump, where some users, the camera bump glass was cracking, and when they reached out to Samsung actually said it's due to misuse, which is actually not the case, because this is your contact point whenever you place your phone down. They fixed the issue with the S21 Ultra, where the camera bump was enclosed in a metal housing. But now we've gone back to the individual glass camera bumps, and there is a problem with this. And the main thing is that glass is glass, and glass will crack. So this has the strongest glass that you can find on a phone, which is a Gorilla Glass Invictus. But if you've seen tests from YouTubers like Jerry Rig, everything, etc., glass is still glass, and glass will scratch and glass will crack. And the reason most manufacturers use glass is because, once again, of the passive cooling of the phone. You got the metal surround, and that's where your heat will dissipate. But if you had an aluminum or metal back plate of the phone, it would usually start to feel very hot in your hands if you are playing games or you're running apps that use a lot of resources. The hardware of the cameras has basically not changed for the last few generations, and it's basically been the same, with just a few optimizations with regards to the software, and obviously new chipsets that have a better rendering of images. Samsung also, their marketing strategy, it's been a bit dodgy, to say, because basically every marketing strategy that they've done with every flagship phone has been what was actually promised on the S20 Ultra, which was not delivered, and then year on year you're getting improvements with certain features within the camera app.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
At one point, Samsung used to be the best budget phone versus performance, but now it's one of the most expensive phones on the market. And year on year, we are getting less and less with the phones. Once upon a time, with every Samsung phone, you got a case, you got an OTG, you got a charger, it came with a pre-applied screen protector, and you also got headphones. Nowadays, within the Samsung S22 Ultra box, all you get is basically the phone and a charging cable. And it doesn't make sense, because the phones, even though components should technically be getting cheaper, and the hardware has been more or less the same for the last 3 generations, the price has gotten more and more expensive. There's also been a failure from Samsung South Africa with every launch of the phone since the S22 Ultra. Now, granted, these phones are very popular, and there was an article on Broadband SA about 2 weeks ago which shows that Samsung has the market share in the mobile market. However, if you purchase one of these phones, you usually get a Samsung store voucher, which is brilliant, but you're not able to get anything. During the month of launch, there were no chargers available, but they are now back in stock. The protective cases haven't been in stock on the Samsung store, and you actually do need a case for this phone. Reason being, within the South African market now, it doesn't come anymore with a pre-applied screen protector, and also to protect those glass camera bumps at the back. So I've been using this UAG Pathfinder case, and it's been brilliant, which actually keeps everything protected. But with the screen protector, there's a few versions of this phone around the world, and in some markets they do come with a pre-applied screen protector, but the Samsung South African store is out of stock of that. So what you're left with is from Vodacom, MTN, whichever service provider you buy, everyone has these cut out gel screen protectors, and I had to put one of those on. Not a big fan of them. They don't look as nice, and if you use the S Pen on the gel screen protector, it leaves marks behind. So I haven't been a fan, and I'm still waiting for these actual Samsung screen protectors to come in stock that are designed for these phones. Now, with all this said, there is a lot of pros to having an S22 Ultra, but there's also a lot of cons, because now it's one of the most expensive phones on the market. And the big question is, should you actually use your hard-earned money to get one of these phones? And the shocking answer is yes.
This is blasphemy.
I know I've said a lot about the negative parts of these phones, and you're actually good having a phone within the last 3 years. But for the first time in South Africa, we actually have a Snapdragon processor. And that is a game changer. Now, if you've been following videos on this channel for some time, I've always said that the last phone to blow my mind away was the S9 Plus. And this is a very close competitor. The Snapdragon unit is that good. Now, usually if you went from one flagship to the next within the Samsung Galaxy range, you wouldn't notice the performance gain out of the box. But if, like I said, if you use the phone for about a week, if you've been consuming content on the phone for about a week, and you went back to the previous flagship or any other flagship phone out there, you would notice a difference. But this one, from the time I powered it on for the first time, I noticed the performance. It's extremely smooth, and one of the best things about these chips is the color accuracy. Traditionally, people would go for Apple phones because it's more blue or cooler tone, and the Samsung Exynos chips used to have a much warmer or tan tone. And just a FYI for all the people that love the iPhones, or let's just say the influencers that love iPhones, this is Africa. You're supposed to look tanned, and you're supposed to look warmer.
Here. Yes, yes.
This is not the North Pole. But the color accuracy from the Snapdragon unit is extremely impressive. It's a lot more neutral. The colors, when you're consuming content, look much more natural. When you're taking photos and videos, there also is a lot more detail within the pictures that you are taking. And we've all seen the review videos internationally where they said that the pictures out of a Snapdragon unit is much better than the Exynos units, and that has to do with the processing of the images from those chipsets. Anyway, this was a quick review video discussing a few pros and cons of the S22 Ultra, and to give you an idea if you should actually buy one of these phones. They are very expensive, but on all honesty, This is the first Galaxy phone that I've really been impressed with, probably in the last 4 or 5 years. And it all has to do with that Snapdragon processing unit and the processing power of that unit. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And please comment down in the comment section, and we'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions. And remember to follow us at all our different socials so you can stay up to date with what's going on with the channel and future episodes that may be coming out on the channel. And also subscribe and turn on the notification bell to check our live stream. We do a lot of gaming live streams now on Facebook as well, but we're also continuing still on YouTube. Have a blessed week, stay safe out there, and we'll catch you in the next one.